All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our summer book party for kids and teens. We are excited to share some of our favorite recommendations for summer with you. We will start by introducing ourselves and we will go in alphabetical order. My name is Catherine. I am one of the Teen Services librarians.
My name is Erica. I'm also a teen services librarian.
My name is Jessica, and I'm one of the youth services librarians who works with kids in elementary schools.
I'm Tanya. I'm also a youth services librarian.
And I'm Ted. I am also a youth services librarian.
Thank you all. We remembered alphabetical order, maybe for the first time ever. Very good. We will start with a little information about our summer reading program.
So this summer at Arapahoe Libraries, we would love for you to join us from June 1st through July 31st for our summer reading program. The theme is all together now, and we have a lot of great things going on. So the first thing that you should know is we would love for you to come in starting on June 1st, anytime throughout the summer to pick up a free book. You'll be getting a preview of some of those free books today during the summer book party. Maybe you'll find one you really want to pick up. And then we will be hosting a variety of activities throughout the summer. So first, we will be building community art through different mosaics, different types. Then we'll be building community connections by sending some really fun postcards between libraries and playing I Spy. And last, we will be building together through a variety of different games, indoor and outdoor, and Legos. If you're not able to join us at the library, we will have some virtual activities for you to participate in as well. So come in and visit us this summer for summer reading.
Thank you, Tanya. So for our book party, we are each going to be sharing some of our favorite titles as well as some of the summer reading giveaway books. And we will have about a minute and a half or so to convince you that this is the book you need to read this summer. And then we'll move on to the next person and we get to start. And so this first one is Iron Widow, which is one of our summer reading giveaway titles. I was really excited when this was selected. I would recommend this book for ages 13 and up. There are some more violent parts to the book, but it is so fun. It is action-packed. As the author describes the book, this is really a story about giant furry mechs in Dragon Ball Z fights. That's, that's a very watered down version. However, it is inspired by the life of that first Empress of China, set in a sci-fi alternate world. And Zetchian is the concubine pilot for these very powerful male pilots who pilot these giant mech robot things. And she has taken over for her sister who has just died, and she kills her pilot because in revenge, basically. It's a revenge plot. She kills the pilot. And then they discover that she is super powerful and she gets paired with one of the most powerful pilots in the Empire. This story is fascinating. It's fast paced, and I'm super excited because the sequel is finally coming out next year.
This is Victory Stand. This is also one of the summer reading giveaway books. This is a graphic memoir. I would recommend this for ages 12 or 13 and up. There are a couple instances of language use. And this is about Tommy Smith, who was an athlete, or is an athlete still, who won the gold medal in the 200-meter sprint in the 1968 Olympics. Tommy was born in Texas to sharecropper parents. When he was 7, his family moved to California, where schools were in the process of desegregating. And in school, Tommy faced a whole lot of racism. Fortunately, he had a PE teacher who took him under his wing and really encouraged him to pursue track and field. Tommy ended up with a bunch of scholarship offers, and he was able to go to college where he kept competing in track and field and also became really involved in the civil rights movement and the fight for social justice. And so at the 1968 Olympics, after winning the gold medal, standing on the podium, he and his teammate raised their fists in the Black Power salute. And this book is about his life leading up to that moment, the repercussions of that moment, and how he overcame that moment in his later career. It was a really, really great graphic novel, one of my favorites of this last year, and I'm really excited for you all to read it.
All right. Well, I loved Goosebumps when I was a kid. And so I was really excited to see this brand new chapter book series out. It's called Spooky Sleuths, and the first book is called The Ghost Tree. And this is another one of our summer reading giveaway titles. So you can come in and get this book. And unlike most books at the library, you can get this one and take it home and keep it forever for free. So a sleuth is not a word that you hear every day. It's kind of like a detective, someone who investigates mysteries. And Asim finds all sorts of strange mysteries when his parents move their family to a new town in Washington for their work. Asim starts hearing things like strange laughter and voices when no one else is around, which is never a good sign if you can hear voices that nobody else can hear. There's also this really strange tree in a graveyard that Asim walks by every day on his way to school. And on his first day of school, he walks by it. And on his way back, it has grown 8 feet in a single day. You can kind of see that tree on the cover. It also has like a super creepy smile. His new friend Roshar thinks that the science lab in town is behind all the weird stuff going on, but Asim is convinced that something supernatural is to blame. And so they decide to investigate. Like I said, this is the first book in a brand new, super fun, slightly spooky series. If you are an elementary school reader that you like Goosebumps, or if you like the Eerie Elementary series, I think you will love the Spooky Sleuths this summer.
This is Juniper Harvey and The Vanishing Kingdom. This is a fantasy adventure story, good for those of you that like Rick Riordan books, Amari and the Night Brothers, or anything that will take you on a ride. This is about a girl named Juniper, and Juniper's family has recently moved from Texas to Florida. Juniper is really not liking it there. There's nothing to do in her town. She doesn't really have any friends, and Juniper is also having really bad dreams. So every night since they've been there, she's had a strange dream about an ancient looking temple, somebody getting attacked in that temple. And then the last thing she sees is a mysterious girl who ends up turning into stone. One night after a particularly bad day at school, Juniper draws a portrait of the girl from her dreams and wishes, "I wish you were here." The next morning, when she wakes up, that girl is in her room. Juniper thinks that she's still dreaming, but as the girls start talking to each other, she realizes she's not. This girl is a princess, her name is Galeta, from a faraway other magical world. And Galeta's world is in trouble. It's vanishing, disappearing, and crumbling. And Galeta has seen Juniper in her dreams too. And so she thinks that this means that Juniper is going to be the one to save it all. Juniper and Galeta kind of team up with some new friends as well to figure out what is happening to this vanishing kingdom and how can they stop it together. I really enjoyed this book. There were some really funny parts as well. I was laughing out loud throughout. So if you like adventures and friendship stories, you will like this one. And I would say this is for ages 8 and up.
All right, so for those of you that love horror, I have the perfect summer reading giveaway for you. This is one of our books for this year. It's probably for ages 9-ish and up, and this one's called Mine. It's about a girl named Lily. Lily lives in Colorado, and she feels like everything at school is finally going really well. She's found her clique. She fits in well with the theater kids. Unfortunately, though, she finds out kind of on the fly that her parents, they weren't doing so well, but things have gotten so bad that they have to move out of state and start completely over. Now, she finds out that they're moving to Florida, and first she's kind of optimistic, like, well, this is kind of terrible, but might be able to start over, until they start getting closer and closer to the city that they're supposed to live in, and Lily's like, wait, I thought we had to leave Colorado because we were struggling. How did we afford this house? Turns out the reason that they could afford it is that the previous owner was a hoarder. Hoarding is kind of like a disordered behavior where you cannot throw anything away. You keep everything, empty milk, empty like glass bottles. So the house is a wreck. Lily and her family start cleaning things out, but it's not just the trash that's bothering them. Turns out that somebody has carved mine into a lot of the possessions that they are throwing away. And it turns out that Lily might not be alone. If you love horror, then this is the one for you.
Okay, so You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson is another one of our teen giveaway titles this summer. I would recommend it for ages 12 or 13 and up. And if you want just a delightful, joyful romance, highly recommend. This is one of those stories that kind of leaves you smiling at the end. Liz Lively is the main character, and she is desperate to move out of her very small, sheltered hometown. She's banking on a music scholarship for that. So when that falls through, her fallback plan is to try to win the prom queen scholarship that is handed out in her town every year. Problem is, she hasn't really ever made much of an effort to be like the most popular kid in school. So it's going to be an uphill battle. And then things get even more complicated when her new crush also throws her hat in the running for homecoming queen. This story is smart and funny and just a delight all around.
This is The Girl from the Sea. This is another one of our summer reading giveaway books for teens. This is a graphic novel. I would recommend this for ages 12 and up. It's about Morgan, who lives on a small island with her mom and brother after her parents got divorced. And while the island is beautiful and Morgan has a solid group of friends, she dreams about the day when she can leave the island. Her plan is to move to a larger city, any city will do, where she'll feel comfortable coming out and feel more able to live authentically. Before that happens, one night she has an accident and she falls into the water and she's saved by a mysterious girl she's never seen before. And this girl is named Kelty. Kelty turns out to be a Selkie, who's a magical sea creature who can shed their seal skin and become human. Morgan and Kelty kiss, and because of this kiss, Kelty is able to shed her seal skin and walk on land, where she promptly tracks down Morgan and decides they're going to be friends and get to learn more about each other and spend more time together. Kelty isn't like anybody else Morgan has ever met. She's probably not like anybody else that you've ever met either. She's very funny and very warm. But while the two start spending more time together, Kelty has her own reasons for being on land, and those are reasons that Morgan may or may not be able to support. This was a really delightful graphic novel. The illustrations are beautiful and engaging, and I think that you will definitely be cheering for Morgan and Kelty throughout.
All right. Well, if you liked the I Survive series, you are going to love the Girls Survive series. And this one that we're giving away for one of our summer reading giveaways for elementary school kids is Lily and the Great Quake. And it's a San Francisco earthquake survival story. If you're not familiar with the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, it was the deadliest earthquake in United States history. Most of the city was destroyed, if not in the earthquake itself, then in the fires that came afterward. So imagine that it's 5 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. You're probably sleeping, right? Well, Lily wakes up in the worst way ever. The ground is shaking and her apartment is collapsing on top of her and her little brother. Fortunately, they get dug out of the rubble, but not only is their apartment destroyed, their entire neighborhood in Chinatown is on fire. So Lily and her family and her surviving neighbors start heading away to try and get away from the smoke and the flames, but they soon get separated. And Lily is left with her little brother by herself in a burning, broken city. This story has so much action and adventure. Like I said, if you like I Survived, you are going to love the Girls Survive series. If you like Lily's story, there's also so many more. Just like in the I Survive series, there's a Civil War story, a Chicago fire story, a World War II story, so many stories.
This is Winston Chu versus the Whimsies. This is another kind of fantasy mythology story, also some humor in here. It is a reimagining of a Chinese folktale, and it's for ages 8 and up. This is about a boy named Winston Chu. Winston one day is skateboarding home. He has a piece of pie in his hand that he is going to give to his mom when he gets there. When he accidentally crashes his skateboard, his pie goes flying, and he runs right into 2 robbers who are trying to rob Mr. Pang's Whimsies. Winston ends up stopping the robbery, the men run away, and Mr. Pang, who owns the store, is so thankful that he tells Winston that he can come in and choose anything he wants from the store. As Winston and his friends go in, they're surrounded by odd and mysterious and magical objects. And Winston is so excited to get something new for his mom since he lost his pie. There's only one rule, though. The first thing that Winston touches, he must take. And through a series of events, Winston accidentally touches a dirty old broom. Winston is so disappointed when Mr. Pang hands him the broom, says congratulations, and here's the dustpan to go with it. Now get out. As Winston goes home, he's obviously feeling deflated and sad and disappointed. He stuffs the broom in a closet, but as days go on, weird things start happening. Winston and his family's stuff starts to go missing. The broom seems to change locations. It's never where he thinks he left it. And sometimes he thinks he sees the broom and the dustpan forming in the shape of people. But when Winston's sister goes missing, Winston decides he's had enough. It's time to get to the bottom of what is going on with this broom and dustpan, and who is Mr. Pang, and is his shop as normal as it looks? I really loved this one. I didn't know where it was going to go and took me on lots of twists and turns. So that is Winston Choo versus the Whimsies.
All right, so for our Diary of a Wimpy Kid fans, this is the one for you. If you love humor or if you're looking for something funny to read, this is a great one. This is also one of our summer reading giveaways and probably ages 8 and up. And it's about a kid named Miles. Miles is the prince of pranks. He's the king of harmless goofs. In his coastal town, he completely rules the scene. Now, he loves to create mischief. He loves to make everyone kind of laugh or get out of order. Unfortunately, though, his parents are moving. Now, at first, Miles is like, well, okay, I guess I can make this work. Unfortunately, though, they're moving to Yawny Valley. Yawny Valley is boring. It is horribly boring. It is out in the middle of nowhere, and in fact, there are more cows than people in Yawny. Now, Miles, at first, is like, well, okay, this is boring, but I guess I could make it work. Almost until right when he starts school, he comes in and he notices that somebody has taken the principal's car and parked it in the middle of the school staircase. Nobody knows who did it, but everyone's like, that kid Miles who just moved here, who's like really good at pranks, he almost certainly did it. Now, Miles is kind of blown away. It's like, that's a great idea, but I didn't do it. He is partnered with Niles. Niles kind of seems dull on the outside. He seems like he's always following the rules. But Miles and Niles, as they kind of start working together, notice they're both really interested in pranks. It's all just pranks. It's all just a cover. And it's up to Miles and Niles to prank against each other and then in the end try to pull off the biggest prank ever. I'm not going to spoil any of the pranks because they are delightful and hilarious, but if you love humor, if you love books with tons of illustrations, this is the one for you.
Missing Clarissa just came out earlier this year in March, and this is an excellent choice for anyone who is a fan of Sadie or Good Girls Guide to Murder, those podcast style mysteries. I highly recommend listening to the audiobook for this one. This story follows Cam and Blair, who are high school students who are in an investigative journalism class, and they're given an assignment basically to explore something in some form of media. And so they decide, we'll make a podcast. Can't be that hard. And we'll do it about a true crime thing. Also can't be that hard. There's this legend or unsolved crime in their town about this girl named Clarissa. She disappeared in 1999 at a party, and no one has ever seen her since. She's presumed dead, but no one ever found the body. So there's a chance that she's still alive. And so these two girls, with no other idea about how they might have leads on the story or any sort of plan or any sort of sound recording equipment, embark on recording a podcast and trying to solve the murder that the police failed to solve all those years ago. Cam in particular is one of my favorite characters that I have read in a very long time. She is just delightful and quirky and all over the place. And it's while it is a like really good mystery and the true crime elements come in, it's also really funny as these girls sort of ineptly try to stumble their way through recording a podcast. Multiple times it's described as if they're like recording in a fishbowl, and yet they just continue to upload these episodes and then it goes viral. So if you would like to read a good murder mystery with some humor added to it, highly recommend Missing Clarissa.
Right. If you are looking for a romantic comedy that is perfect for summer, Chloe and the Kaisha Boys is for you. I would recommend this for ages 13 and up. Chloe has lived in Manila her entire life. Her parents are divorced. She lives with her dad. Chloe dreams of becoming an animator. And the first step to this dream is attending the University of Southern California, which also happens to be where her mom lives. But before she leaves, her family, particularly her slightly bossy Auntie Queenie, insists on throwing her an 18th birthday party. And then they insist on turning that birthday party into a traditional Filipino debut, which is a giant, extravagant party that Chloe is not super enthusiastic about. She doesn't really feel like she has a choice, especially since she's getting ready to leave. And so she goes along with it and lets her auntie plan this party. Part of this debut involves dancing with male partners. And while Chloe thinks she has the perfect solution in that she's just going to dance with male relatives, her auntie and her dad have a different idea. Her dad may secretly be hoping that when he and Auntie Queenie Kaisha Chloe or set her up on dates by matchmaking, that maybe she'll stay. But when one of Chloe's Kaisha boys actually starts to feel like sparks are flying, she's left with this choice between her dream and her new relationship. Chloe is laugh out loud funny. She is delightful. She is the kind of person that I would want to go get a cup of coffee with and be friends with. And I think you will too.
All right, City of Dragons. This graphic novel has something for everyone. It has magical dragons, ancient mythology, but also modern day things like middle school and evil scientists. I think this was the most popular book that I shared with our elementary schools all school year long. The third graders loved it, the fourth graders loved it, the fifth graders loved it. And so I'm really excited that this is one of our summer reading giveaway titles. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. So Grace has just moved to Hong Kong with her mom and her new stepdad for his research job. And her mom is really worried about Grace fitting in and finding friends at her new international school. But Grace doesn't really care because Grace hasn't cared much about anything since her dad died. She feels really disconnected from everything. But one day on a field trip, a mysterious old woman gives Grace this strange egg before disappearing. The egg hatches that night, and Grace wakes up face to face with this super cute little blue baby dragon who's like drinking water from the toilet bowl, just like you might catch your puppy. So cute. She tries to hide him by taking him to school in her backpack, but her secret is soon discovered by some of her fellow students. Fortunately for Grace, these classmates want to help her solve the mystery of the baby dragon. And while they're investigating, they soon realize that they're being followed by these creepy dudes who are like wear suits and always seem to know where they are no matter where they go, almost like they have a tracker on them or something. Their journey to figure out where this baby dragon came from and who wants to steal him will take Grace and her new friends into the path of an ex-pirate, all the way to an abandoned island, and eventually straight to the bad guys themselves. And these bad guys are a lot closer to home than Grace ever could have imagined. If you like magical adventures, I would say if you're 8 or older, I think you will really enjoy the City of Dragons.
This is The Extraordinary Adventures of Alice Tonks. This is for those of you that like mystery stories, and I would say for ages 8 and up. This is about a girl named Alice, and Alice is going to be starting at a boarding school for the first time this year. Alice is really nervous. She doesn't want to leave Grandma and all of the comforts that Grandma provides, and she's worried about making friends and fitting in. Alice is autistic, and she feels like she's never been able to find her place with kids her own age. But when Alice gets to this school, everything changes. Alice, on one of her first few days there, a seagull flies up to her and starts talking. Alice thinks maybe she's hearing things, she doesn't know what's going on, but the seagull tells her that the seagull's name is Agent T, and Agent T tells her that there are dark things happening at this school and that Alice should trust no one. The bird flies away. Alice thinks maybe it was a dream. She doesn't really know, but she decides to brush it off. But she can only brush it off for so long when other animals start talking to her. And Alice realizes that she has this ability to talk to animals and have conversations, which is going to be important because the animals tell her that creatures are going missing around Alice's new boarding school. And it's going to be up to Alice and the help of some of her new friends to figure out what is going on. The story is not only a mystery, but a story about friendship and finding your voice. That is The Extraordinary Adventures of Alice Tonks.
All right. So for those of you that love graphic novels, this is a perfect all ages addition to our collection of summer reading giveaways. This is called Grumpy Unicorn Hits the Road. And as you probably guessed, it's all about the world's grumpiest unicorn. He is having a really rough time of it. Like, he tries to go to the movies, he tries to go to the arcade. Everything just feels extremely boring and dull. So he gets a little idea. He's like, well, maybe I've done everything that I can do in this town. You know what? I need to take a vacation, and not just any vacation. I am going to go on a road trip. I'm going to take a backpack and nothing else, and I'm going to go get lost on the road. Unfortunately, though, it turns out that it's not quite that simple. Grumpy Unicorn loves being alone, but he keeps running into people who keep trying to get him to do things. He runs into this friendly Sasquatch, as you can probably see on the cover, who will not leave him alone. He runs into a jackalope who runs a drive-in theater in the desert, which honestly sounds awesome, who also will not leave him alone. Grumpy Unicorn is just like, no, I don't want any of this. I just wanted to travel by myself. But it turns out it might be a little more fun when you're traveling with friends. This is a goofy, adorable book. If you are looking for a graphic novel for all ages, this is the one for you.
What Happened to Rachel Riley is one of my absolute favorite books that I have read so far this year. I recommend that everyone read it, no matter what your taste in books is. Everyone should read this book. I would recommend it for ages 11 or 12 and up. And it is about Anna, not Rachel. Rachel does figure into the story. Anna Hunt is the new kid in school, and she has just moved to town. And her teacher gives her an assignment to complete what she calls the unessay. Basically, she can choose whatever topic she wants, and she has to submit a completed assignment for it, but it cannot be an essay format. And so this book is Anna's response to that assignment. It is basically the portfolio that she puts together of all of the things that she gathers for this assignment. Anna decides that she is going to do her assignment on Rachel Riley because she has noticed that this kid in her class is universally shunned by the entire school, and nobody will say why. And it's not just one clique of kids, it's all the kids in the school. It's as if Rachel Riley doesn't exist. She can't get the other students to talk about it. She can't get the other adults in school to talk about it. And so she decides that she is going to get to the bottom of it. The book is written as a collection of emails from parents or emails to parents, notes passed back and forth in class. It's got sound recordings. It has text message threads, all kinds of things that she is gathering the evidence for what it is that Rachel did or what happened. And I can't tell you much more than that without spoiling it, so I'm going to leave it there. But again, everybody should read this. And if you like audiobooks, it is one of the best audiobooks I have listened to in a very long time.
This is A Million to One. This one is historical fiction. It's a bit mystery, it's a bit suspense, and a bit heist story. Think Ocean's 11. So in this one, we have 4 female protagonists, and we alternate between their points of view. These girls met at a boarding school or boarding house in Europe, and each one has some reason to join in this con that the leader, Josefa, comes up with. Each girl has a different skill. So we have a mastermind, an actress, a contortionist, and an artist. All of these skills come into play as they make their plan to capture the Rubaiyat, which is a book of Persian poetry whose cover is encrusted in jewels. If they can get this book, they will be set for life. Word has it this book is being transported to the United States on board a ship because it's recently been purchased and needs to be shipped to its new owner. So the girls plan to get on board, get the Rubaiyat, copy it, all while not getting caught in close quarters. They manage to find a way onto the ship, they forge papers, they create new identities, and they steal tickets and finally make their way onto the Titanic. We as readers know what happens to the Titanic. They do not know what happens to the Titanic. And you know by the chapter headings, which are counting down to something, that they only have a matter of time before their luck runs out. This was a fascinating story, not a premise that I would have expected to work as well as it does, but definitely kept me guessing and turning the pages.
All right. This is The Total Eclipse of Nestor Lopez, and it's another summer reading giveaway book. If you like fantasy, so if you like Harry Potter or Percy Jackson, I think you will really enjoy Nestor Lopez. So Nestor is what they call a military brat. His dad serves in the military, so their family is always moving around, and Nestor has never lived anywhere for more than a few months at a time. This time around, Nestor and his mom are going to live with his grandma while his dad is deployed. And Nestor doesn't really want to make any friends. He doesn't want to make the effort because he knows that he'll just be gone in a few months anyway. But also, Nestor doesn't want to get close to anyone because he's terrified someone will find out his secret. Nestor can talk to animals. And when the animals in town start disappearing, the other animals turn to Nestor for help. It turns out that there is a witch who steals animals during the solar eclipse, and his grandmother is the #1 suspect. If Nestor wants to save the animals and clear his grandmother's name, he's going to need to stop going solo and get some help from some new friends. I would recommend this action-packed fantasy adventure for kids who are 9 and up.
This is Search for a Giant Squid by Amy Zito Forrester and Andy Chow Musser. This is for kids, I would say 6 and up. It's definitely something that you could do together. And this is a choose your own adventure, choose your own path, all around ocean and ocean life. So the first thing that you're going to do in this book is you are going to learn some really awesome facts about the ocean and what it's like getting ready to go on a dive and do research. And then choose your own adventure starts. You'll start by picking your pilot, by picking your submarine, and then by choosing which dive site you want to go to. While you're diving into the ocean, you will learn all about the different layers, different animals and creatures that live in the ocean, and many other fun facts. As you're going, you're also going to be making different decisions. Do you follow the light that you see in the distance? Are the fish pointing you in a certain way to go? Each page you'll make a decision and have to turn to a different area of the book. Will you find the giant squid? You'll have to keep trying. It took me 3 tries to find the giant squid, but there are 11 different unique endings. So if you like kind of books that turn into games and adventures, then you will love Search for a Giant Squid.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just about to tell you all about this How to Draw Cute Stuff book, but then I got really distracted drawing a bunch of really cute stuff. This book is an incredible all-ages introduction for how to draw things in extraordinarily adorable, cute styles. Now, this book is probably something that you look at and you might think, but like, I don't know how to draw. I always wanted to, but like, I don't know how to do that. And the correct answer is that yes, you do know how to draw. Everyone knows how to draw, and this artist or author will take you step by step through how to draw or make pretty much literally anything, including cakes, zebras, animals, humans, brooms, witches, wizards, whatever you want to draw into an adorable illustration. Now, one of the things that's cool about this particular illustration book, lots of Lots of art books will walk you through the step-by-step, like draw a circle, draw another circle, draw ears, which is all really useful. But one of the coolest things about this particular How to Draw book is that it gets into a little bit of why we find things like this adorable and gives you some ideas on how you can use those skills to turn literally any illustration you want into an adorable illustration. So if you love art books, if you're looking to learn how to draw, or if you're looking to level up your art skills, this is a great one for you, and this is perfect for all ages.
Those are all of the books that we have to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you found something that's got you excited to read this summer. We are excited to see you in our libraries this summer for summer reading. Have a great day.